What is up, guys? My name is Donnie from nextlevelesports.com, the #1 platform for esports coaches and team development to help you and your team reach that next level by getting the people side of esports right. So this will be episode number 2 of reacting to coaches video that are available on YouTube. And today I will be reacting towards LS, also known as Last Shadow. He's a big name in the League of Legends scene, and he's coaching a former pro player, HotshotGG, and they're looking at some details of the gameplay, etc. And it's a very interesting take on how he coaches, and I have quite some criticism on the way he coaches, or at least in this video, how he presents knowledge and all these kinds of things. And also very interesting to look how the coachee, HotshotGG, is reacting towards his coaching and his coaching style. And those are some really important things to look at if you're looking at this video and my analysis as well. So be sure to grab your pen and paper and let's get into the video. Alright guys, let's get into the video.
We're gonna coach HotshotGG.
Alright, we're gonna coach.
If you guys don't know who Hotshot is, he was at one point one of the best players in the world many years ago, at the very beginning of League. He apparently was Challenger 4 seasons ago, but then has not played in a while, and now I think he's like Platinum or Diamond or something.
Alright, so the reason I didn't skip towards the gameplay or like the interaction between the coaching, because in my opinion, always when I do videos or any situation that we're talking about, context always matters. And it gives a little bit of context for the people that don't know the player, don't really know League of Legends. But basically, Challenger is the highest level you can be. It's 0.001% of the player base, basically. And yeah, he was in TSM or CLG, what I quickly saw. What was it? This is yeah, Counter Logic Gaming with Evermoo and Double Lift as well, for the people who know. So he's a big hotshot, basically, back in that time. So let's get into the content of the video now. We've got some context.
So we'll see. We'll see what's going on here.
Right, let's see what's going on here. LS.
What MMR is this?
This is a Diamond 4.
Platinum,
Okay.
Diamond. Okay.
Plat 1 D4 around there. I had a very good win rate until I started playing Quintop.
What does Blitz say about our teammates here?
So
Blitz has the dodge!
Say what?
You should dodge this game. You should really dodge this game. Like, these people do not care about winning. You have a 49% win rate player choosing a champion that he's obviously not proficient at, right? You have a player choosing probably one of his worst champions as AD carry, and he's a D4 53%. And with that game volume, it probably means that he hit that MMR with like 60% or like more, and then slowly it fell down. You should just let it time out. You shouldn't play this game.
All right, so I'm curious what your opinion on this is. So HotshotGG, and with all these statistics in terms of coaching, yeah, that is a framework that I'm talking about. So if you would say against a coachee like, oh, you should dodge it, why would you dodge it? Because the quality of the game is not good, or is it about MMR, like winning in general? We don't know for sure, but stating when you want to help someone improve the gameplay, most of the time it's not about like what your teammates are doing, but what you can influence and how you look at the game from the player's perspective, and what you can do to improve the game. It doesn't really matter if to a certain extent, of course, if your teammates are like not at 50+% win rate, or of course it does matter. But if you're coaching someone, most of it is just like, okay, let's see what you are capable of, what your thought processes are, what your intention is when going into the game, etc., etc. So I would say yes, this is a valid argument to increase MMR and to go to a higher rank, but it doesn't really have to do, in fact, with improving as a player. The thing that I believe that is somewhat valuable is like explaining the thought process of like how he interprets the percentages of the win rate and how he views it and why you should potentially dodge. But in terms of player development and becoming a better player, this is, in my opinion, not that relevant for the whole context of it. But if you think differently, comment down below or shoot me a message and let's discuss. So continue.
You're gonna be no, really, this is what it's actually become. This is what the game's become. Now if you were like a high master, grandmaster player or something, you can probably play this game, but you shouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Got it. But it kind of just rubs me the wrong way to think about the game that way, you know? It's kind of fucked.
Do you ever play poker? It's like knowing when to fold.
That's the
It's a good analogy, like knowing when to fold, of course. But once again, how he states and uses his words is mostly about climbing the ranks and being perceived as a better player because of it. And of course, you have somewhat of an element of becoming a better player because of dodging cues and all these types of like statistics and the influence of the teammates. Yes, but still, yet again, not that relevant.
Knowing when to fold.
The system is fucking so broken right now. This game is fucking doomed.
So I'll be skipping because what I've seen, I've looked at this clip a little bit into before, is a long time. What you can see here about like just like laughing and about like dodging and what the game state had become. So let's jump into the next game and see what happens. So a lot of laughing.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! My jaw. So you're against Vlad, Cho, and
all right,
Lulu,
we're in the next game.
And Tristana does deal a little bit of magic, so maybe you could take the Nullifying Orb. I don't think your Nimbus Cloak really matters that much in a lot of plays because Vlad has Phase Rush, so he's just going to be moving quick anyway, and Vi has a select target kill on you. Teammates, check, blitz.
All right. Before we go into the next moment, so this is an interesting thing. So if you are a coach, and HotshotGG, that's why I gave like the context of the beginning. He's a professional player, and perhaps because of all his extensive experience throughout the years, he might be able to connect this type of information. But I would not recommend this type of explaining things to players, no matter what level, basically, unless they are like you're working with them one-on-one and you know what they do know or don't know or whatever, and you just can hand them a solution. But what I believe is like HotshotGG, they just met up and felt like, okay, I will try to coach you, I will help you. I don't know if it's paid or sounds more like a friendship or a casual type of coaching, but still, it's like, okay, I believe we have this type of champion and then this combination, and if X, Y, and Z, then because of this type of skill, and Vi has this ability, and Cho'Gath and Lulu has this kind of ability. It's like an equation. Of course, like if you know these types of things, you connect it well together. But in order to explain a concept, he's just like out loud thinking his own thought process. But this doesn't really help that much the player in itself, what the context or bigger picture of this all is. I would rather suggest or like to see in this regards, like, okay, what do you think your room page should look like in this specific setup? And then see if he understands what he has to pick in terms of the opponent champions or the opponent's solutions or the facts that are against him. And then just to say like, okay, maybe he took like a different talent or a different rune in that regard, and like, okay, this looks good, but I would change only this specific thing because of this and this. then it's more easy to follow, and you include and involve the player and or the player in question, HotshotGG, in question to think for himself, so he understands the concept where you're coming from. Because if you're only handing a solution, it's like, okay, I guess that's right, but you don't really understand or connect from the level where he is at. So at this moment, I already start to notice that LS is coaching from his perspective, like what he knows, but he fails to connect with the player that is in front of him to understand what he knows. And perhaps, like, we don't know all the context, he could know that, but that is a big thing that I see a lot of times happening in coaching sessions, that just like, there's no bridge between, okay, where is the player at, and they build on from there. But no, it's like the coach is in this type of knowledgeable bubble, and it's like, okay, just do this, just do that. So we'll see. But that is my take.
Blitz.
What?
All right.
Blitz.
What?
Check. Scroll up. Teammate. Win rate. Teammates.
Ah,
Shit!
It's too late.
No!
All right,
Whatever, bro.
Whatever, dude. What the fuck?
We're not dodging again. That's a 30-minute dodge. We're not gonna play the game, bro.
Well, this is what I did on stream yesterday. I actually dodged for I think I had 4 hours of dodges total. Okay, enemy team's really good. And
all right, so this again, the player, that is my hunch, and hopefully you guys feel it too, or maybe not. HotshotGG just wants to play the game. Like, if you want to coach me, it's about me, the gameplay. I'm the central piece of it, not like the framework or the game itself and all the components to climb rank. And so once again, this is pretty irrelevant, and it only builds up the pressure and frustration onto HotshotGG, because LS is forcing, like, the last minute of like, oh yeah, open your blitz and check the statistics if you should dodge, yes or no. This guy just wants to be coached, wants to have some insight into the gameplay, his knowledge about himself, in order to increase, let's say, his potency of his ability to play better inside the game. And it just gets stuck in only like the selection and the statistics part, and I don't believe this is effective at all. And also, if LS really wants to push on it and will say like, okay, this is my type of way of coaching, or this is the parameters that I'm gonna hold you onto before we go into a game, he didn't do that. So it's pretty confusing, it's pretty hectic, it's just downright like chaotic. And Hotshot is like, I don't know, but what do you mean click this? Probably because he's not used to using blitz as LS does. So this again is like he's missing the bridge between the coach and the player, and that is a huge mistake that he is making. So already 2 times that it's pretty frustrating for a player, even though they are laughing and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty not good, I would say. So let's continue.
And then scroll down. Oh god. Ah shit!
All right, so what we just see, that there's a cut like in the footage because the game started, you have the loading screen, etc. So instead of focusing on the game and the player itself, what he's gonna do in this situation, they went into blitz to see like what the percentage of that player is, just for what, for basically knowing, of course, and might be interesting because there's so much emphasis or pressure on it. Now they are laughing about it, but what I would rather very much more enjoy to see is like, okay, this just happened, forget about what I've said, let's focus on the game at hand. So what is your setup, what is your intention going into this game, how do you see yourself play this lane out, when are your in terms of League of Legends your power spikes, when do you have an advantage, how does your 2v2 from the jungle perspective included look like, etc. So just firing questions so you involve the player and make him think about the game and how he's gonna play, and see if where you can connect with him to see if there are any flaws just prior towards the game. Now there's just like laughing, giggling, ineffective stuff, and 2-3 minutes have been wasted, and there's not much really focus on the individual or the player itself, but more so like on the knowledge or like basically irrelevant things that doesn't help improve a player at all in terms of the context of this session. So let's continue how this resolves.
12 games, 25%. I've never seen that.
Okay.
All right, we're in the laning phase.
Ease her backflip, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Get away from my XP, bitch.
All right. Yes. Oh. Okay. So we're gonna cheat her on 3. You can ward the brush now to be safe.
All right. So one small thing of like yes. Instead of like micromanaging the player in front of you, like, okay, you need to hit the CS now. You need to CS now, or CS. I would say in terms of coaching, or what I would like to see in this regard, is like, be sure to position yourself in a way that you can CS and also zone the opponent. That is it. That is just like the intention, the concept of it. And then see, it doesn't really matter if he does it right or wrong, if he understands that intention, that concept, and how he behaves in that regard. So first you give the player always like the trust of understanding, because he's a former professional player, challenger player. So give him the bigger framework first, like the intention, the concept, very easy and practical, like position yourself between Cho'Gath and the player so you can CS and perhaps harass him. And if he doesn't understand or he fails to execute on that regard, narrow it down. Like, okay, position between this and this, and then go like narrow down all the way onto micromanagement if that is the case and that is relevant for in the situation. Now what I see is from the get-go, quite some micromanaging that I would handle it differently, for sure.
So kite down to the right as, yep, ward. Yep. Okay, hard shove this wave. Don't worry about Cho, unless you can do both. Just ignore him. His damage on you doesn't matter. He can't ever kill you. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh.
Fuck.
Okay. That's fine. Just hard shove. Okay, and then reset. Reset. Ooh, okay. Alright, yeah. Recall? Okay.
Do you like cheatering the wave like that?
Yeah. I'll talk about it in the VOD, why like cheatering's the only line that you can take here. If you think like 3 minutes in the future, it's the only line. Okay.
Where do I think?
Control word river.
River?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. Just do it now. Before he sees you. Oh, okay. Okay. Now our lane's insane.
Okay.
Fine.
So do you want me to
You
play
can
aggro or?
Yeah, you can poke him.
All right, so this is an interesting thing. So because, and this takes away focus and effort inside the laning phase, because they were giggling and laughing about the percentages, HotshotGG wants to know the intention of the laning phase and how we should behave or play this lane or game in general. Like, should I play aggressive, defensively? Should I focus on farm or whatever? They didn't talk about this at all in the beginning in a loading screen. They were stacked up with irrelevant things that is now a term of a bottleneck of what HotshotGG can comprehend inside the moment while focusing on the enemy, while focusing on everything, while this could be easily have been covered on the intention of the lane while walking up to the lane, or just like in short sentences. So there's I get a sense of like there's a bottleneck, and not all the information that is needed is able to transition towards HotshotGG So he's asking the questions like, how can I speed up this process? Give me the information that I need, that I feel as a player that I need in order to succeed, or give me the concept or bigger picture that you want me to do so I can experience. And that's an important part. So I can experience what you mean and how I should play this game out, even though there are goods and bads maybe in my gameplay. He needs an intention and a bigger, higher level terms of framework, what he can work with.
And you can CS. Yep. Oh, Vi might be there. Vi might be from behind. This isn't normal. He's never acted like this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Right.
and now just lifesteal.
That was a good thing. So he explained why Cho'Gath was more aggressive, something out of the ordinary pattern that this character or this opponent player should do. So he warns the jungler inside. So that's a good practical thing.
Okay.
Okay, so am I
You gotta
like stopping him from recall?
Yes. All right. You should poke.
So I need to trim the wave.
Yeah. Maintain this this wave. Now Kane's gonna path top left.
All right, so small thing, maintain this wave. Vocabulary is an important part. What do you mean maintain this wave? In League of Legends, the term of maintaining, I think he means freezing. So the lane doesn't shove back and forth, but stays at the same spot in an advantage in your way, or a negative way if you're at the other side. So maintaining this wave, I don't know what he means, so it's a little bit vague. So would rather see some more clear vocabulary or an explanation what he means with that.
Because he has to, right? Ooh. Pop your potion. Ah! Okay.
Also notice like this reaction all the time, also from the beginning of the game, while he missed CS and now he's getting hit by Cho'Gath Rupture, if I believe is a correct skill. It's just like, ooh, ah. What kind of additional value does that give towards the player? Think about it. Like, okay, HotshotGG has the instant feedback already that getting hit by a skill isn't that good. Do you need a coach to tell you, or like give out his frustration in a way to say like, oh, that was bad, like, with every move you do or take? It doesn't really build on that confidence or like the perception of that coach is helping you, or like, okay, it's okay, just focus on the thing and just get back into the game, or focus on. Now the focus is on the mistakes of the player, and it isn't beneficial. So rather just be quiet and help the player refocus on what he has to do, or like, oh, okay, don't worry, it can happen. Just make sure like you distance yourselves or whatever, instead of screeching out different sounds that is just like judgmental, because there's a judgment behind it for sure. So let's continue.
Okay. We win. Ignite early. Oh. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Ooh, that's
ping Kane. That you need help. Ping Betsy. Okay. Okay. Ping. Okay.
Yep.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
At that moment, he knew he fucked up.
So I'm hard jumping here.
Yeah, you're gonna
unlockable?
file. You're gonna hard shove. Yeah, because if I'll tell you in the VOD. And then reset again, and this will undermine his reset. A lot of people might think reset and then like get a deep ward doesn't do anything, because Kane's pathing bottom, and you don't care if Vi is on the top, right?
Do we care about the tower like hitting
No.
it or anything to get that?
Nope. Okay, Kane wants to maybe come top.
All right, so the player asks a question, and he's only giving the answer, but not like the thought process going into. So, do we care about the tower? Nope. Okay, I guess. We don't care about the tower. So maybe he will go later over it into the VOD review. I hope so. But if he's going back, he should be able to give a quick, brief explanation of 1, 2, 3 sentences why that isn't. Instead of like interacting with the player of why he's asking that question, because he asked that question, he's in the game, because it's important to him to know at that moment. And if you are a coach, you need to connect with your player in order from where he is at in his mind frame or framework of his thoughts. And you could be talking about macro plays or jungle plays, about the moon, spaceships, or like day-to-day life. If the attention is from a player at a certain point, you have to acknowledge or see him from that point. And you have two options: either connect with him and answer him because he finds it important enough to ask that question, or acknowledge him at the point that it's not important at this time and give him a brief reason why, so he can let go of that thought and just like continue and refocus on something else, because else it's just like cluttered. And even though LS might be thinking, and this is an unconscious process, he might be thinking about, yeah, but the tower, like from my experience, like this is such a good wave, like about all this. What LS could do, maybe in the best possible solution in terms of option 2, is like, okay, it's not important, I will explain to you in the VOD review when we're done with this game. And then you write it down as a coach and then you come back to it. That would be a good play.
Threaten to freeze? Yeah, you can trade with him. You can make a blunder trade, and it's winning. Yep, make a blunder trade.
All right. So, blunder trade, he already did that because his vocabulary is a bit of like going between one another. Like, it's a bad trade. That's more clear. So, good job of correcting that. Intended to bait the enemy. Good stuff.
Blunder trade.
Oh.
All right, that wasn't a blunder trade.
Damn, he went too fast.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay, hard shove again. And then reset.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh, you could have killed him. Maybe if you mount Valor. Oh, he's maybe still dead. This is weird that he stays, though. Vi is maybe on the way. Yeah. Just focus on CS.
W.
Okay. Okay. Yep, word. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna mount up Valor in 4 seconds. Ready? Now mount Valor. Mount, and go for kill. Go for kill. You have ignite. Go for kill. Okay, we did it. Yeah. All right. Mount Valor again. Okay. Level up an ability. Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Oh, he's dead.
No.
Yes,
I don't think I...
If you do everything at once.
Okay, give me a sec.
All right, so this is an interesting part. So the player in his mind is like, no, I cannot do that. And Alice is like, yeah, if you go at it and use everything at once, then you can kill him. Now, it doesn't really matter who is wrong or right, but this is like a conflict, right? In terms of interest or intention or knowledge gap or whatever, and it could be done. But yeah, it's a difficult way. So a way to approach this thing is just like, okay, just go perhaps for the safe option. Okay, you don't have to kill him, or if you are the coach and you because sometimes you want to explore the aggressiveness, even though you are more defensive orientated player, or you don't know like the limits of your champion or like the game aspect that much yet. You want to force like, okay, I just want you to kill him. Believe me, you will kill him if you mount up, then Q, W, E, then you have him 100%. Then builds in confidence, and then the player can rely on the coach. But now it feels like, yeah, I think you can kill him in sort of that, like the type of intonation in terms of language. It's like, just like a discussion of like, yeah, you can kill him. No, I can't. Yeah, you can kill him. No, I don't can. There's no convincing voice in that regard. So if you really want to make these types of play, it's very important as a coach to be firm with your language and be very directive what you want to do. And it comes over as a sort of an suggestion, but not like really something. And if he misses the chance or whatever, you can just like as a situation before, or either answer the question like yes you can, or like give him the slight context. Yes, if you go in, mount up and do this and that, you will have in 100% all the time in this situation. So think about that.
F key mid. Oh, he's dead. Mount Valor. Mount. It's more important than the CS. Get him to auto you. Get him to auto you. Get him to. No, God, oh, God, no!
Okay.
All right. So now LS is basically panic coaching. Like, oh, mount. Now, why is this happening? You want to understand why this is happening. Because you might have certain situations where you were with the player like, oh yeah, I see this opportunity right now. You want to do it. I will tell you why. Because there's no concept or intention given prior to the situation. Because LS could have seen that this wave state would have been like this. And he could have explained instead of like, oh, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. Explain something inside the scope of like, if he mispositions, you want to first let him attack him if he dives under the tower. If he does, he tries to get at you, blow him up. If not, if he stays at the tower, it's very difficult. So stay away. Just an option so he knows the intention. It's just like a question of 4, 5, 6 seconds to explain something before the situation is gonna happen. So now it's not like micromanaging, like, oh, pressure, E, pressure, ultimate pressure, this, oh, no. And then, again, the instant reaction of like, ooh, like, oh, he made a mistake. So if I were the player, and hopefully you guys can feel it too, he's like confused, like, I tried to follow you because you are the coach and I'm trying to be polite, but I cannot follow you for shit, basically, because it's too fast, too hectic, too chaotic. I don't know what I need to do in the upcoming 5 to 10 seconds because I need more input.
Okay. Oh yeah, he has no mana. Pop potion?
You think I should stay?
Pop potion. Yeah, auto him as he tries to walk up like this. Okay, yeah, walk up.
So just like he needs more information because the prior situation went basically to shambles. So now he's in this situation. The play that just happened isn't relevant anymore. So there's a new play happening. So you ask for information like, what do I do now? But LS assumes like, yeah, just stay. Instead of focusing on the gameplay, and now I get a sense of like LS wants to win this game for himself. Instead of helping the player improve and understand and explain easy to understand concept that he can follow in calmness and just like execute it, and that it is okay for HotshotGG to make mistakes. Like there's little to almost no room what HotshotGG can do. So I will be super confused or maybe frustrated at this point, and it's only 8.5 minutes into the game. So yeah, doesn't really look good, the LS coaching up to this point.
Fuck off. Mount Valor. Oh god. George! Go! Okay, shove.
Mount Valor?
Yes. Alright, it's fine. Shove.
Mount Valor.
And again, just like LS is trying to control the mind of the player, but he's not like helping the player to see what he sees, and that is again an example. Yeah, you should have done this, you should have. It's not working. If you don't set an intention for the player or coach on the intention, GG, well played, coach. You're nowhere. Always coach on the intention. Always. You can watch my video on coaching on the intention to really go into depth of it. But if you cannot do that, that LS at this point hasn't showed at all, it's pretty bad. It's terrible. And he has so much knowledge, so much League of Legends experience, but in terms of coaching, what I've seen is like, is he truly a coach from my perception? Because he's not that good with the people side.
Valor takes forever.
Spellcasters first. I'll tell you why in VOD.
All right. Also a thing, just like with the stress coaching, you spellcasters first, spellcasters first, spellcasters first. I will tell you why in the VOD review. If you say, always go for the spellcasters first where you shoot it because they're doing more damage, you will shove the wave faster. It's like maybe 1 second longer. It's just like this, and instantly the context that the player needs in order to continue. But then you don't need to transition it into the VOD review or anything else, and it's just like stressing and like, I don't know.
Oh, Valor's 100 mana according to Twitch chat. I didn't know. You don't have mana on your thing. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna hard shove this wave and then we're gonna leave.
We're gonna leave. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, he says. Why do we want to hard shove and then leave? There's only an action portrayed towards the player and not the intention or concept why that is. Always give a reason why or some sort of answer towards what you are doing unless you really have no choice. Always coach on the intention.
This guy's unkillable.
Yeah, he's unkillable now. That's why. So now
that's
it's a
why.
losing line. Don't ever auto him.
Good.
It's just pointless. We're just gonna
The player figures it out for
shove
himself.
every single wave and then leave. Yeah, hard shove, ignore. Vi's bottom, ignore him. Spellcasters first. Ignore him. He doesn't deal damage. Ignore him. Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
just
you
like
can tell that you're
ignore him, ignore him,
little
just like
angry.
chaotic. Like,
Okay.
what do you
No,
mean
ignore,
with chaos? What is the intention? I can
it's
do
not
what
doing
you want, but it's
Okay, now
frustrating.
hard shove this next wave again. You could
Because
auto
you're not a
there,
robot.
but yeah. Okay. Yep. Keep doing this. This is good. When he's blundering and you have minion help. Okay. Oh, you should have woven more autos. You can. Yeah. Yeah. Go.
Am I
Space
focusing
better.
on?
Yeah. Focus better, because he's messing up.
So do I hit him?
Yeah. Hit him. Yeah. Oh. E.
Focus better. Like, what do you mean, LS? I want you to focus better on helping this player, because at this point, I hope you guys are feeling it too, but it's like, honestly, to this point, it's terrible coaching. Terrible coaching. Like, there's no intention or anything. Just like, oh, go E, go do that. Yeah, attack him. And then like, oh, do I need to attack him, the player is saying? Or do I farm on the wave and cast this first? Like, it's too much information with no background once again. So, hopefully, if you watch this video up to this point, if there are any more, I will go to it too quick, because it's happening all the time.
Yep.
Hopefully
Valor. Oh my god. Oh! Oh, he's too far up in the lane. If you mount Valor, even though he's running, you catch him with the MS, you'd kill him.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I think he just turn around and stun me and kill me.
No. You gotta just space. Also, if you just waited for E there, he was dead.
Oh, yeah, that's actually smart.
Yeah. It's just better spacing there, and he's always dead.
Okay.
Look.
All right. So instead of like giving all these things, like if you can attack him, getting to half health, you might get a chance to kill him with this combo. Or when he tries to run, when he's low, you just Valor mount up, and then you just chase him because your movement speed is higher, and then just let the player play. It's so much more effective than just like micromanaging every freaking step that he does.
Look at the next wave that's coming in. You see it on your minimap? That's where his wave is. So we're gonna shove the melees and then leave. Or we're gonna I'm sorry, we're gonna shove the wave and then leave. Okay. Spellcasters first. Just thin them all out to the point where that kills them. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Third time he's screaming this, spellcasters first, but still you haven't made the effort of explaining it in 1 second why.
And now leave. Yep. Okay, leave. Yep. Maybe go mid. Look mid. Yep, go mid. He's gonna recall like an idiot. You'll kill him. Go. Fast. He's right there at the flowers. Behind the turret. He's right there. The flowers to the right. Yeah, kill him. Nice. Alright, reset. Oh, Kane's there, okay.
You wanna...
Yeah. Kane's here. Yeah. This is fine. Okay. Okay. Honey. Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah, keep kiting. Kite.
Let's stop the chaotic coaching, please. Like, it's annoying and it isn't beneficial at all. It's just like, I don't know, maybe he didn't sleep well, or he feels like, oh yeah, this is just like a fun coaching, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all.
We're okay.
Okay,
And
run.
again,
Okay, run. No, run.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Coaches.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, run.
Also
Blast cone. Yep, blast cone. Thank you, Riot Greylock or whatever. Yep, blast cone. Okay.
Right, great.
All right. Shove this. Run. E. Oh God. E. Okay. Take it. Take the fight. Take the fight. Valor. Okay. Run around. Run. Oh, okay. Run around. Okay. You win with E. No. You auto two. Yeah. You win with E. Yeah.
No. He's gonna fucking eat me, dude.
E. Oh my.
He's gonna literally eat me.
You weren't in E range.
If I eat, he eats me.
No, he doesn't. All right. Run. Okay. Run. Yep. Okay. And then ping that you're on the way bottom.
So interesting point, like, because this happened also a couple of times why he didn't use the E, while it was sort of obvious, just like, yeah, use the E, you damage him, slow him, and blind him, and then you can kill him. Only thing that LS is saying, no, he doesn't kill you. But no explanation, once again, why. And HotshotGG is like, yeah, I think I have some experience with this, maybe that I will die and I will look stupid, so... There's no connection made at all with him and where he's at. Not at all.
Oh, Yumi's not there. Wait in the brush. Just wait. Ready? We're gonna kill Lulu if she goes. Yeah, go. Ping. Jin. Oh my god.
Oh
George?
my god.
George?
I trolled. Don't worry.
Lulu.
I'll get one. Oh my god, I trolled. I fucking trolled. That was my bad. I was autoing creeps.
Guys, comment down below if you think it was totally his bad or also just bad coaching and also trying to micromanage and explaining and shouting about the different player you cannot control in such situations instead of focusing on the player. I'll let you decide.
Okay. All right.
I got stage fright.
That's fine. Okay, maybe we can run bot and get a kill here. Let's get a longsword. Run bottom. Maybe she's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah, she's dead.
She's 100% dead.
Run from the left because someone might be at blue. Oh jeez. Okay. Yep. CS the wave. Okay. We're gonna get collector. No, flash for that. No!
What? Did you kill him?
Yep, get
I
back
have
in.
like 0 HP, dude. He's gonna kill me.
Ignite. Oh, okay. Oh, God.
You think I can kill Triss?
Yes, from behind. Ready, go. Ignite. You didn't ignite.
Oh.
Mount Valor.
Yeah, I should have ignited.
You got it. Run. Blue trinket.
I got her?
Yeah, blue trinket next to her as you go for her. Yeah, go. Oh, you didn't ignite.
Yeah. I should have ignited. Just look for roams, right?
Alright, League of Legends coaches, what do you think? Is it dopamine hunting, just like go for the kills? Of course, there are some cuts in between, but doesn't make that much sense
Yeah.
to me.
Alright, let's look mid. Yeah.
Maybe that's why the slightly funny
What am I watching?
music.
Okay.
So you can have so much knowledge, like as a coach or whatever. If you fail to connect, like I believe, even though they are sort of laughing, it's not enjoyable for HotshotGG or LS. Just because of all these things happening in terms of the coaching, the misunderstanding, the interaction. I don't believe this was fun at all. And if they would say this was fun, maybe for them, but in terms of gameplay, it doesn't look like fun or anything fun at all. And if you miscalculate that, if you're micromanaging and then like that, if you're talking about like a knowledge or your what you're able to do and haven't made connection with the player, that he's missing some mechanics on this particular champion as well, and miscalculating what he has to do, yes or no, or there's so many disconnections, it's almost unbearable.
Yep. Go what? Oh my god.
Oh.
We could have flashed hidden silence, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh, E? Oh shit.
Wait, why isn't my E working? Yeah, honestly, it's so hard
let's go over the VOD. Let's go over the VOD.
It's so hard to play on the micro situations and listen to the micro situations, and then, but the macro situations I think is a lot easier to follow.
Yeah.
So this basically sums up everything of my criticism throughout the whole coaching session. He's just like, and notice how careful he presents this conclusion of his own, like, yeah, the micro coaching and stuff is pretty hard compared to the macro coaching. Like, it's terrible. It's terrible. And while he is saying that, LS gives any shit about this player of like connecting with his view. He's like, go over the VOD review. Like, he has his own way of how he wants to present this, or he views his coaching, and he disconnects completely with the player. And this is a former challenger player, and if you ever been challenger, like from a little bit of League of Legends experience, I'll let you decide, but it doesn't really sound good, and especially for this kind of player to be coached on this micro level. So terrible. And now he only reaction he gave like, yeah, and now you see quick VOD review. All right, let's go, LS. Very curious what you're gonna teach.
CSing, so there is going to be points where like giving up CS is actually better for damage on opponents, but I think the way Cho'Gath was playing, it's not. So right here, we don't hit the wave because we want to maybe allow for like a cheater angle. Now Cho backs all the way off. Now right here, this is where your camera's actually pretty good, but there's going to come a point where you should walk back up faster so that this doesn't become scary to CS. He's obviously not going to walk up, right? And I know that you want to zone him out of this, but you can still walk up to here and then give him a chance to walk up. And then this is what
just see what his reaction is.
See what his reaction is. It's a net positive, or it's a neutral positive. So if you do walk back, you're not losing anything. But if he walks up, you gain the chance to maybe hit him. And so right now, this is
all right. Point of something that I would love to see, because in the basic, like it's not terrible, but I would say involve the player, especially in the VOD review. So you see this type of situation. Can you remember this type of situation? Yes. What happened? Yeah, I tried to zone it, and what was your intention? Yeah, I tried to zone, but then what happened? Yeah, I believe I missed some CS or anything else. And if he doesn't say that, like, okay, you missed some CS. So in terms of like to have something of both of these two things happening, is there a possible way or solution towards this to not miss CS and still zone him? Yes. Okay, what is it? To position myself in a different way. Perfect. Problem solved. Now you involved him and you understand if he understands it. LS only brings in the solutions, like, because this X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 to X times Y is this because, and now you have this, so this is the solution. And of course, he's a former pro player, and many players will understand this, but it's only about nodding like, yes. If you involve them, they will transform. It's not about the informative game. You as a coach are in a transformational business, not in an information business. Okay? So you want to help them transform into towards a better player, so you can give them concepts so they can use that and the way of thinking in order to improve their own gameplay when you are not around. That is transformation. And this was more like, solution based. So It was okay, decently, but I recommend the second option that I just presented by a far, far margin, and is always the best option.
This is what I talk about when I talk about cheatering. Okay, so imagine this as wave 2 or wave B. People, whatever you want to call it. All right, we identify this as 2. Okay, this wave right here is 3. Okay, and the wave that'll come after that, this one is 4. All right, wave 3 is a cannon.
Got it.
4 is not a cannon. 5 is not a cannon. 6 is a cannon. Okay, if you CS all of wave 2, all of wave 3, you're left with X gold. What does X gold equal in the shop for you? That's the question you have to ask. If you stay to wave 4, what does X gold equal in the shop for you? If you stay to wave 5, what does that, X equal in the shop for you? And then 6 will be a cannon. So there's actually some champions that sometimes they can do things like start longsword, and they can cheater on 6. And if they cheater on 6, they get stuff like serrated dirk, and then it's a cannon. So if they do longsword refillable, they can cheater on 6 and come back with a serrated dirk. And that's very powerful because that's an 1100 gold buy. Now, if a champion started Doran's Blade, D-Shield...
All right. Up to this point, there's quite some information about wave states, and he's a challenger player. Once again, just to keep you reminding yourself of the context. Even though it is built up in a sequential way, like this is the state, blah, 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 and then the waves, and then brings up towards this and this item. I highly prefer this type of approach, but there's missing one step. What is the problem, and what is the eventual situation that we want to be in, and then break it down into small steps and the consequence of what could happen. So now I'm missing that whole part. So he's building it up from details and facts, but for me, and perhaps for you as well, if you're watching this couple of seconds, it's like maybe you know what he's gonna say because you know that, because you have to think from the player's perspective. He probably doesn't know it, or maybe he doesn't see it in that way. So he needs to remember all these little pieces of information before, and then have the aha moment, instead of knowing what the concept is and then piecing the pieces of information towards the concepts. So it's more easy to attach on the things that the solution will be. So now he has to have a good memory in terms of, like, okay, you have the wave state, and then you have to wave 3 is then the cannon minion, and 4 is not, 5 is not, and 6 is, and then the gold, and okay, how does it all work, and blah, blah. Oh, yeah, then I can buy an item. But the thing is, we do the cheat recall in order to go more back and to have an advantage into lane in terms of item advantage. Let me explain you how you can do that. Now you can look at it into like the waves and blah blah blah. And then every piece of information that you will say makes sense in terms of the solution and the bigger concept. It makes sense. Now it's just like brain training. And he's a former player, he's challenger, so he's not a dumb player. But if you're watching this and you're not coaching challenger players, high master, or any player with a pretty high rank and a vast years of experience, for example, silver players, gold players, platinum players, they will have a hard time, especially if they are, let's say, intellectually not that gifted in terms of IQ. And that's not like a hard state, but that are just like the main facts. There are so many things presented in this that already makes it hard, I believe, for many players to analyze all these little pieces of information. But especially for someone not at that level and not at that speed, etc., to connect everything all well together. So instead of connecting it from your own and think like, oh, I explained it in the right sequential way and then I have the solution, it is not a sum. You're working with people, with information, and you want to transform them. Give them the right tools. You need to have different frameworks into your coaching and everything to help these players be efficient with your knowledge, because that's what you want. The knowledge and the things that you have to transition that, to build that bridge towards them and really be like, okay, I'll give you this piece of information for a lifetime. Not in the moment to give you a solution, but for a lifetime. It's like, don't give a man a fish, but teach them how to fish and they will be fed for a lifetime. This is basically exactly that. And he's just handing out fishes and then like, yeah, I do that by fishing and this is how you fish, instead of like the whole concept of fishing and feeding. Maybe a bit too abstract for this whole story about that. I can improve that as well. But hopefully you get the point. So let's continue with this continues.
You know, Doran's Ring, Corrupting Potion, etc. They don't have the same luxury because they don't have 350 gold towards a component. So in some matchups, champions can be hurt by this. They have to now stay on 6, which means that you can undermine their teleport. Because you get back to the lane on 6, they're still there for 6, and then you achieve the same thing on 3. So the concept behind Cheater...
Alright, so the thing that I miss is maybe a piece of context that we're missing because it's cut out, is a reaction to it. Like, yes, I understand, or maybe some questions in between. Now it's only focused on LS's sequential thinking and then a solution. But in my opinion, that's just explaining something and working towards a solution. And it works in some ways, but I really miss, once again, the involvement of the player. There's honestly very little coaching going on here. Coaching is not the same as explaining stuff. Remember that. Explaining stuff is not coaching. Coaching is working with the person in front of you, understand where he's at in terms of his context, his belief systems and everything. So it's getting pretty complex already. And then on top of that, you want to give them at that moment what they need, not what you think that you want to present of the solution that you see. So quite a gap, but we also have a gap in terms of context. So I cannot really judge this moment because there was no interaction. It was cut out. So hopefully he did that.
Is you try to imagine, where is this lane going to be on wave 3? If Cho'Gath does everything right, what is actually possible? So imagine like it's a choose your own adventure and there's lots of doors.
All right, at this point, so what is actually possible? Like, what do you think should be a question at this point? Like, there are a couple of things possible. What do you think is possible? Maybe it's like, I don't know, or like this. Like, yeah, exactly, that is one, but there's also another one. So you include them, involve them into the coaching.
Right? Mm-hmm. If Cho does everything right, what is the only way to possibly get an advantage in this game? And it's via cheatering. Because if you take this wave and you take third wave and shove it into turret, can Cho play the wave underneath turret to actually survive? Yes. And then his jungler, you're susceptible to a gank, etc.
All right. A small note as well, because he's going really fast, also with his arrows and writing and all these things. He's like a mad scientist or teacher, like, oh, X, Y, and Z. Once again, like, if you do this, I combine X with Y, you get this formula, and then use this formula with the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, understand? Okay, yeah, continue. Maybe he understands, but like, slow down. Like, take 5 seconds more with your explanation and be sure that you keep in connection with them. Drawing all those arrows about, like, all over the screen, like, what do you think? Think about what that does with the mind. If you have, like, nothing on the screen, what will you be focused on when LS is talking? Of course, his voice. His words, then probably the context, so you have some room to think. What will happen? Do those arrows bring added value towards his explanation? Or is it just like distracting? It depends on the person, the personality, and how they absorb information, of course. But for me, just to follow this, it's just like, it's going all over the place with arrows and things and everything. Like, I don't know where to look, where to listen, what I should remember is pretty rough to follow. And maybe that's my context of things, but I am not in a coach perspective. I am not. I'm taking the perspective of the player. So if you're watching a VOD review of someone else doing it, you need to always take the perspective of the player. What kind of signals is he giving? If you're looking at like, oh, I would do this as a coach, or I will give this solution towards a coach, or whatever. You're going wrong right there and then. It's not about you or what you should do as a coach. It's about like, what is the intention of the player? What is his context? And then connect with that. If you connect only with your perspective as a coach, forget about becoming a great coach. You want to always connect with the player and facilitate it in the best way. So streamline your information and don't really distract that much unless it has a use.
Okay, so wave 4 will then go into his turret, and then wave 5 and 6 starts pushing back towards you. Okay, so on 5 and 6, is our jungler coming top lane? The answer is no. He's not coming top lane. At least not on 5, which means that there's a timing where, like, it's dangerous. But also, on 5 and 6, now Cho is looking to get out of lane. So did you do enough damage on wave 3 and 4 to somehow threaten lethal on 5 and 6, even though he has the wave that's pushing into you? So he has more minions. The answer is probably no. So what's going to end up happening is somewhere on 5 and 6, Cho'Gath is going to teleport, and you don't have teleport. So if he plays a war against your HP and your mana relative to the minion wave, he's going to end up winning. So we can see that. We can look past all of this, right? So,
all right. Now, what I've noticed, maybe you've noticed this as well, like, yeah, this sounds reasonably like well explained. And I give props to him because of that. Because he slowed down, and in my terms, like, he explained it more sequential because he's building on top of the former intention or the concept that he already handled. So the player has a reference on what he's talking about and can link it towards each other. Maybe that's also why LS slowed down. Because he knew, like, okay, it has to be connected with them, or the intention or the bigger concept that I just explained before with the waves. So I can now go more into depth. But this is a way better way of explaining something.
So we can conclude that that is a likely door that, like, will end up going down, okay? So we need to circumvent this because we decide, just like in poker, this is a losing line. So how can we undermine this? Well,
by the way, he already used the door example, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I have a hunch for what he means is like options that you have in terms of how you play the game, in terms of, in this game, the options that I have is aggressive, defensive, or facilitating, or supportive, or whatever. Those are the doors I believe that he's talking about. He sort of explained it, but it's still a little bit conceptual and too abstract for me, to my liking, to really connect with the player. I like the idea, but I believe it hasn't landed that good yet. So how would I know and how do I judge that is if Hotshot or me would explain the door system into something else, basically only going after like the information that he gave. I think it will be not like natural thing like that instantly clicks, but I kind of do like the concept. I see that it's valuable and it's a good way of explaining things after all, but the way he presented it could be a little bit more in depth or a little bit more context around it.
We can cheater on 3. And if we cheater on 3, then we get to pull 4 and we get to pull 5. If we get to pull 4 and pull 5, we can maybe trade with him really hard on 4-5, but have a really good lane state. And we've already recalled. So we have, a call is ideal. In this game, we weren't able to get call because you missed 6 out of the first 3 waves. You had 13 out of 19. So we have a call. So we have sustain, we have full HP, we have full mana, and we have the lane in a good state, which means that if he does TP and the lane's in a good state, then what we can do is we can look to reset again on 9, because 9 will be the next cannon wave. So he'll TP on 5 or 6, and now we just have to play 4 waves, and then we get to reset on 9. When we reset on 9, he no longer has teleport, which means that we come off fountain with better stats and a better lane state if we play it outright. Does this make sense?
Got it.
So cheatering
it does make sense.
starts on 3, and then the effects or the winning line occurs on 9. This is sort of
Okay,
like if you watch like chess streams or something, someone moves a piece and it doesn't make sense until like 4 moves later.
All right, so that was a good example, especially the additional metaphor of the chess example really makes sense in terms of this. Probably League of Legends coaches are watching this video because it's also about League of Legends, but just like to give some additional information, like from my own perspective and some of my experience. If I saw the gameplay, what he did, and we saw quite somewhat of his laning phase, is this... I understand that this is the biggest concept and like the really next play on the macro and thinking ahead part of and the strategy part. But in terms of what he needed in order to play the game better, like, is this really gonna... This concept alone of everything that it now pointed towards, that was like this thing of a TP advantage, is that him really making him a so much better player? I believe, from just my hunch, is just like this would be perfect for like a Master Plus Challenger or Diamond Plus player that, or not Diamond, I would say a little bit more higher. It's just like that's very specific and a concept, but he is a Platinum, low Diamond. Of course, it's not the worst, but also far from the best. There were so many other things that LS could explain to improve his gameplay in terms of concepts, but he chooses to pick this one. That is so complex and vast in terms of like things you have to remind yourself, count waves and things. Like, is it really gonna make him better? I believe it's a great concept, but like, is it effective for him to transform his thing? Is he now be able to go Diamond 1 in one session, at least close to? I think personally not. And it's just like a total disconnection once again of the coach and where the player is at this stage. So let's continue for the last couple of minutes.
My head am focused on taking advantages away from my opponent, whereas this line is focused on how I get the most out of my my situation. And like, let's say I played less aggressive early game and I got more CS, but then Cho got like another 4 CS, right? Like, obviously I don't have perfect last hitting. If I were focusing on last hitting perfectly, I'd probably hit it. But when I have to choose between like taking attention from trying to split, like, how should I be thinking about the early phases?
You should...
And this was basically what I talked about. So LS explained shit tons of everything about laning phases, but it comes back to basically the first example, how we should CS and be aggressive at the same time. There was no connection made with the player, and it was basically the first time in the VOD review that he had at least some breathing room to ask a question, what he found important. He needed to ask for it towards the coach that is coaching on the highest stages of the world, basically. And it's, I don't know, man. It's really sad, really sad. And I know LS has so much knowledge and a lot of factual things that he knows about the game and certain situations, but the way he connects with the player in front of him and connecting it all together, like, it's just like not good at all. So hopefully he now can bring some little piece of value that the HotshotGG had to ask him, because I'm 100% sure, or close to 100% sure, this is the only thing that matters for HotshotGG, what he can actually repeat and transform himself in the next upcoming 10 to 15 games. He can work on the feedback that he is about to give in the next 10, 15 games, basically. And other things is like too big, too conceptual, too complex in order for him to understand for him. So hopefully you guys are following me, and if you disagree, comment below, and I will fight you in the discussion. No joke. Let's continue.
Be thinking about trying to get yourself as far ahead as you can, and how to develop yourself if you think that you're the better player.
Got it.
You want to put his lane in a situation where he's forced to break his neck. Now this game gets into...
Alright, I didn't expect that kind of answer, although it's a legit answer. It's conceptual and not practical. So it's a mindset thing, and it's not bad. But what I really miss, once again, is practical solutions towards the connection, building the bridge between the player and the coach, to giving the tools in order for him to transform himself onwards to a better player, instead of like, yeah, in order to win the lane, you have to play aggressive and let the other one break his neck, and yeah, just get yourself ahead as big as possible. Like, if you would say this to, I don't know, a challenger player currently, or any player, it makes sense. It doesn't really matter if it's a bronze player. It's like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. But how do you do that? That is the question. And there's no practical thing or explanation in that regard. And now we're moving to something else already. So, missed opportunity once again.
To a bit of a fiesta. There comes points where, like, you know, Baron, anonymous pings, and like stuff like that. They get Mountain Soul, yada yada yada, right? So none of this stuff actually matters. It's mostly the fundamentals that have to be improved. All right, so let's
okay. About the fundamentals, okay, like yada yada yada, all the game doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter if you make mistakes, because maybe it feels like from the get-go, from the beginning of the video, it was like, oh yeah, I don't care because the players are influenced, like they're bad or something. I get a pretty negative feeling about like the LS way to approach it, because there are sometimes things to learn. But if you are a coach and you feel like, okay, the rest doesn't matter, before you go into the VOD review, you have to say, like, I know there are a lot of things happening throughout the game, but where your biggest like potential of growth is the early game or the laning phase, and like some concepts that I want to teach you there. So is that okay with you? Because there are some things, maybe if you have some questions, you can add them. But in terms of time or anything, let's just talk about this, because this is the biggest thing that you can improve on. Is that okay with you? Like, that is what you want to do as a coach, and not like do it at the end and you'll feel like, oh, it's Russia, it doesn't really matter, blah, 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 blah. You don't know, and again, he misses the connection with the player, because maybe this player feels like, yeah, there were some things that I might want to know or curious about, but the coach decides for the player what is important for the player, yes or no, instead of involving the player and ask the question, what do you think is important? Or from my experience, I really see this. Are you okay with this? Is it the direction that we should go? So, yeah, man. Couple of seconds, or it's just like the ending.
Okay.
Well, guys, what do you think about this in-depth coach analysis of LS? For me, it's just like, it was terrible coaching, and I find it really confusing why he is at the level that he's at, and I assume that he's not always like this in coaching. I know some other VOD reviews in terms of coaching, he's sort of like this, but more like in depth. There's sometimes a little bit more patience. But like, I get this sense like that he's like in his own mind, his own world, about like, oh, I know so much about the game, and let me say how it should be done, and let me control you. Feels like he's very control freaky. He's a really, at least from this video, a coach has a really hard time to truly connect with the player. Like, not with the person because they're laughing and ha blah 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 blah, but also the person in that sense, because the person controls the player, right? but like there's no connection with the player, where he's at what level. I see also the thing that because LS coaches in Korea and so many high-level teams, that he has a different perspective of the concept that he's thinking about, and it's a really hard time to break it down for people that are not at that level, at least. And even then, there are a lot of things that I believe can be so much better in terms of his approach towards the player and coaching and explaining concepts and etc etc. And now they could be like, yeah, but it's about like, yeah, this sounds fine or whatever, like the context is good. Yeah, it's fine, okay, like I've seen worse coaches than this, but overall, like I'm by far not impressed at all. And I'm really curious what you guys think in that regard. So yeah, let's wrap it up with that. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you love this type of content and you really find it valuable to gain some insights on how you can improve your own coaching, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and also be sure to go towards the description. Recently, I launched my free to download ebook, As Long As It Lasts, the foundation of performance on how to motivate your players. So if you're a team coach or working with individuals and you feel like motivation is a big part, I believe it's a cornerstone of performance in general. So if you want to influence motivation and increase the performance of the players that you're working with, be sure to download it. It's free. And yeah, let me know what you think about that. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. So let me know what you think in the comments below, or shoot me a message or join the Discord and we have a chat. But see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.